Welcome to the Change and Transition Energy Exploration. I have a guest here with me today that I'll bring on in just a moment, Miss Rachel, and she is an amazing soul that has gone through massive change and transition in her life. But first, wanted to tee up really what is the energy of change and transition. Now, for those of you watching live, happy 22222 on a Tuesday. It is a powerful day of alignment. And if you're watching the replay, let 222 be a reminder for you that alignment is key to life. And really, change and transition goes into alignment because alignment is really allowing yourself to align to what feels in the highest vibration in the moment versus what you think it should be or forcing it to be. Out of alignment is usually how we're constantly evolving as humans, is getting back into alignment to have to fall out of alignment, back into alignment to fall out of alignment. And it's that balancing act. So 222 is a reminder for all. It's an invitation for us to step into that higher alignment and really find that balance within our truth, honoring what is present now, and allowing your visions and dreams to guide your way for that alignment. So, change and transition is that energy that comes into our life exactly when we need a new alignment, a realignment, or an elevated alignment. And sometimes that comes expected, and many times in our human experience, it comes unexpected. It could be losing a loved one, losing a pet, getting laid off. Those are all types, even quitting a job. Those are all types of change and transitions we choose to go through or we're going through to help elevate us to what's next. So when you're going through change and transition, energetically speaking, it's basically imagining like your whole auric field around you has all these connections to the past ways, past experiences, past people, past events, past workplace, whatever it is. You're then untethered from all of that, and you might feel lost. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel completely just in this daze and confusion because you have nothing attached to you and you're not anchored in anyone's energy anymore, so, or anything's energy anymore, so everything's kind of like in this limbo space. And in that space we can go into this realm of depression, anxiety, worry, reflection, and it's this constant energy battle. I, as a new mom, have recently gone through this, but even a month before I became a new mom, I lost my dog of 16 years, and that put me through a huge change and transition, no longer having his energy a part of my life to then becoming a new mom and having a brand new energy a part of my life, right? And so when we go through these evolutions and points in time, it's really important to just not rush it and just explore what is our truth and what we are ready to really step into. And it might be something that's always been on your mind, but maybe you haven't given permission to. But now that you're in a new space, you can put that energy in there. And then you start connecting to all these different realities, these different groups of people, friends, and that continues to blossom and open up, and we start to move through this change and transition, and our energy starts to elevate in different ways if we allow it. And so when we go through change and transition, it is a pivotal point in our journey. Usually it's in your astrology chart. It's like, oh yeah, highlighted in there. Or your human design. It's part of, your soul imprint in so many different ways. I work with the Akashic realm, so I look into my Akashic records and, Akashic vibrations to channel guidance and figure out like, okay, what is this change and transition, and what am I really, what ideas want to come through to help guide me into this experience. So Rachel is someone that I personally have worked with throughout the last year or so with change and transition specific to her journey, but it also, really supported me in my journey. As I just mentioned, some of the big changes I just recently went through, working with her brought all these tools, all this awareness back to my reality of, when you have to really work through these unknown times. So with that, I'm going to bring on Rachel so we can properly introduce her and have her share her story with change and transition. And then we're going to dive into a tool her and I created that we use that we're excited to share with you that includes a ton of other tools to help you through change and transition. So with that, welcome, Rachel.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and a little nervous, but I think it'll be great.
Yeah, I mean, these things are really nerve-wracking. When you first get started, I too is like, oh my gosh, like people are watching me, and what am I saying? But it's showing up with good intentions. A theme helps, and also your journey, in my opinion, is very valuable. And I think anyone going through a big change and transition, especially unexpected ones, can really benefit from hearing your journey. So would love to hear from you. What was your journey with change and transition? And really, the work you're doing today is a part of that. So we'd love to hear from you. When did it really start for you to make more sense and, you know, um, allow yourself to see the changes and transitions in your life as big pivotal movement times where you grew and allowed yourself to grow?
That is quite a journey that I've been on throughout my life, as everyone goes through their own. And the way I like to describe it is that this is something that I have been waiting for or preparing for my whole entire life, and then for the last 3 years, and then the last year, and bringing me to this current point in time. Um, but where the catalyst event that really changed my direction of my life happened about 3 years ago. It was a little more than 3 years ago. I kissed my husband goodbye and was preparing for the rest of our day. And at that point, I didn't realize that that would be the last time that I would be experiencing him in a physical conscious way. He was in a tragic motorcycle accident. And after getting the call about his accident, everything from that point just seemed like it was underwater. Working with the people at the hospital and coordinating family to come into town, and all of these things that were happening and swirling around me so fast, but yet so slow at the same time. It was a very uh, strange phenomenon that I was experiencing, because it just seemed like I was standing still and people were talking to me, but I couldn't hear them. I didn't really know what I was doing. I kept talking to myself like, oh, you're supposed to answer now. So say something. And then I would say, oh, okay, yes. And that didn't stop for over 2 years. Later on in the week, I became a widow, a single mother to our 4 beautiful children, and lost my best friend, and experienced so many different things that came along with that loss. My husband's parents lost their only son, their only child, and people lost their friend. So there was a lot of dynamics that were coming into play, and I was trying to wear a lot of hats, but yet I was not mentally there. I was stuck in a complete brain fog. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating healthy. I gained almost 100 pounds. I was going through the motions. And at the same time, I'm supposed to be a parent. So all I could think is get them to someone who can help them sort out their emotions, because I don't know what it's like to lose a parent, but I can't even focus to help them during this time frame because I wasn't even helping myself. And I just was overwhelmed with grief and loss. And for about the first 8 months, I sat in a room and I really just kind of went through my day to day motions. And I picked up and I moved cross country at the end of 2019. If you were to ask me now what all you experienced during that time, I really couldn't tell you. The truth is that I was still, I feel like, in a stunned state of mind. And it wasn't until, we started to move into the pandemic timeframe and I realized, okay, I have to snap out of this and I have to start figuring some things out because now we have a whole other different type of change and transition and stress coming into our lives and things are operating differently. So, kind of trying to metabolize that in with what I was already, feeling through at the same time became almost it was awakening to me, but at the same time it was also more stressful. So I began searching and trying to figure out, how am I going to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life right now. I need to do something that's inspiring and brings honor to my husband and brings honor to my children. And I was not living that type of life. I had lost all forms of like spirituality. And I wasn't angry. I just had become completely numb to everything, all of existence. And and so I went on a journey and I tried to figure out what I was going to do. And I kept thinking about you, Sarah. And even though I had never met you, I knew of you because of a mutual, my cousin actually, a mutual friend of yours. And she had posted one time about a journey that you were going on and that you were starting. And that had been 10 years prior. But I had constantly been thinking about it over that course of time. And that's when I reached out to you and said, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to open up a new space in my life. I'm trying to create a whole entire new direction. And I'm not sure where to start. And I don't know how to heal. And I don't know what I'm doing, basically. And through those conversations and through your teachings, I learned Reiki. And that was the biggest eye opener for me. And it was so healing. And that opened me up to more modalities and more things that I wanted to learn. And I kept learning. And suddenly things started to come into a clearer focus. My lens was getting smaller and smaller as to what I was called to do. And that is through all of my growing pains throughout my entire life and the pains, the ups and downs and tragedy that I have experienced throughout my entire life couldn't be for nothing. So I focused everything into working with others, healing themselves from grief, moving beyond grief, especially people who have lost partners, and what that looks like for them, and how I can bring all of my experiences into their their life and help show them, yes, we can create something out of tragedy, just as though, like, wildfires can wipe out a forest, but then there's going to be new growth and there's going to be new beauty and new life that comes from it. So, we're always in that fluctuation of transition. So, it has been quite an amazing journey for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you went through so much, especially with, being a mom to four children and losing your best friend. And, even before that, I know you have experience of losing friends and loved ones that were close to you as well, unexpected. So it's this, you know, process you've been going through many times in many different ways, from what you shared with me. And it's been beautiful to watch your journey because you really stepped into your gifts and you're very intuitive naturally, but like you mentioned, when you're in a space of change and transition, especially unexpected, that impacts you the way it did for you. That really it's hard to even getting up in the morning's hard, and doing what you need to do throughout your day. It's not easy. It's like even brushing your teeth. I know when you're in that energy, it's a challenge. It's that motive. There's like no motivation. You're in a very dense space and it's very vulnerable. And it is a rebirth. It is like a new baby. You got to rebuild and bring your energy back to want to interact with others, especially life. And just moving through that, for some it could take years. For you, took as long as it needed. And everyone's different. Some are months, some are weeks, some are years and years and years, and a whole lifetime. So I think that's what I learned through your journey is like everyone has a different journey, and the tools will help you in that journey. And it forced me to go to all my tools. Working with you is great because we worked together for like a whole year on your energy and unlocking your energy fields and your gifts and your healing in all the different layers. And you did so much of that. I mean, to me, energy is not what a healer offers you. It's what a healer allows you to open up yourself, right? And step into your own powers, not depend on others. And so you forced me to go to all my tools and I'm like, okay, what else is here? Because what was nice to see is how quickly you were able to unlock other parts of your journey, remembering your gifts again and going back to childhood and saying, wow, I was part of a pretty like very restricting religion, that really put these belief systems in my mind that are blocking me from believing in myself or believing in this like other field of energy that is so meaningful for me. And one thing that impresses me about you too is your ability to tap into, mediumship and connecting with your loved ones on the other side, but also honoring that it's okay to miss them at the human side, right? And finding that balance. So that to me is it's been amazing to watch. And I think for so many who are dealing with grief, you're the perfect teacher to guide them through that journey because you went through it recently too again, and like that's life. We're going to go through a bunch of different versions of change and transition because we're here to evolve. And that's kind of the promise of life itself as a human is like, not everything here on earth is forever. Everything's going to evolve no matter what. And I think that's hard because we're taught as humans most of the time to not evolve or not want to change. And actually when you lean into change more and invite it more into your life, it's like, oh wait, this is what I am here to do. And it's okay to change, and it's okay to be this different version of me while still honoring what was, and acknowledging that, when you lose someone you love, like you might always miss them, but that doesn't have to stop your life, and that doesn't have to affect you the same as you evolve. But it can always still be a part of your journey, and that's what I learned with my dog. It's recently passing. He was my companion for 16 years, and one of my worst fears was losing him, and I did, and I had to really move into that energy field of like, I know he's still connected to me, but I miss his presence.
Mhm.
And I'm no longer, I'm now a new person too. Like he's no longer a part of me. And like I felt that loss. So, I mean, I know that doesn't compare to the human loss because it's all different in so many different ways, but I can sympathize because of that recent loss. It was just this past December, and it was like, whoo, that was a toughie. And thank God for working with you because I had so many tools that I was able to lean on and really step into. So you mentioned Reiki, but you also, have learned other tools as well.
Yes, I through working and my own life experiences, I've come across a few different things, that I've worked with. I even went out. I became a certified death doula because I wanted to be able to help my clients if they were going through something with someone who is dying of a chronic illness or just needs to understand how to maneuver those facets of afterlife or before death, and how to how what to expect and what they're going to go through. Also knowing things like people who are battling alcoholism or drug addiction, things like that, they are in a huge fluctuation. So even if they stop taking on those things, and they're able to stop drinking or stop anything that they're involved with as far as any type of addiction, food, whatever, uh, that creates a huge change in transition, and it needs to be supported in the most loving way, and honored that those things are a journey in themselves for people, and they can go on and they can support other people as well with those things. So one of the tools that we've had at our disposal, and I had shared it with you, is called an AO scan.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, it just looks like a little phone. And what this is it's a biofeedback machine. It's also a frequency generating device, as well as an educational tool. And what this does is it has so many multifunctional aspects to it, that there's so many things that can support and educate people about their own bodies.
I love that tool. And we're going to jump into a few frequency tools after this real quick 2222 break, because it is February 22nd, 2022. And it's about to be 2:22 p.m. here on the West Coast. So we're going to take 1 minute to embrace this energy of alignment. And if you're watching the replay, that's okay. Embrace the energy of 222. So in about 10 seconds, I'm going to play an energy for us just to tap into with some music. We're going to get some music going on this powerful 222 day. Let's switch it up. That's a good one. All right, here we go. Activating code 222 for your highest alignment. It is time to take that next step forward for the great good. You can check out a meditation after this as well on the Energy Haus YouTube channel. So let's check into your alignment. What is the biggest goal you can achieve in the next month? What is something you're ready to step into? What is one thing that you can do now to make you smile? What is one thing you're grateful for? What is one thing you can eat today to provide the highest level of nourishment? Were those questions easy for you? Yes, keep going. They were hard. Just explore what areas were a little hard for you. It's time to make an action plan. They were not relevant for you. Your energy is needed in a specific area in your life. So check into that energy. So again, alignment has been realized. I take the next step forward. With trust and confidence, I activate 222 within my entire soul for my highest good across all dimensions, space, and time. Happy 222, everyone. And if 222 is showing up in your life, alignment is ready for you. All right. Happy 222, Rachel.
Happy 222.
This, I think we were talking about this before, but this is like the only time this will happen ever in our lifetime, and for billions and billions of years, if not millions. Who knows what that real number is, but it's never going to happen again. So, hey, good, embrace it. And I love numbers. Some people call them angel numbers. I call them activation codes, because that's what I was taught, that everything's a frequency, and especially repetitive numbers carries a unique frequency. When you activate those energies for your highest good, it like sends you a little jolt of energy. So whenever I see 1111 or 222 555 on a license plate or on the clock, I'm always like, ooh, activate. So if you want to believe that too and take that on, go ahead, activate all you want. Enjoy those angel sequencing activation codes.
I also, when I see those, it also gives me time to, as a reminder that I am being loved, I am supported, from the angels, from higher power, from God. And I think about what I want to be, what I'm grateful for. Just something real quick, like, one time it might be, I'm just grateful for my family. And then another time, I'm grateful that I have a comfortable bed to sleep in. Things that, I take for granted a lot, that that makes me think of. So I love it. It's great.
I feel the same way when I see a number sequence. I'm like, I feel immediately excited and grateful, like, ooh, yay, like confirmation, or, I'll I usually can tap into the energy meaning of the vibration, but if you don't know it, just Google it and see what comes up, because there's so many sites that decode the numbers, and they have good meanings and like write-ups about them. So you'd be surprised, even if it's like not a sequence number, but it keeps showing up like 957, and you just keep seeing 957, like look it up, the meaning, and you'll be surprised. Okay, so speaking of frequency, you were talking about the AO scan, which is all about biofeedback, frequency healing, and we're seeing these new developments of frequency healing devices start to filter in specifically to the US. They've been around Germany and other parts of the world for way longer, but the US is finally letting them in, which is really exciting. I love frequency devices. I also have an AO scan, but I'm still learning it. So Rachel's more of an expert on that and has taught me about it. But I just, being a new mom, I just, got to choose what I'm learning right now. So that one is just for some reason taking a back burner, but I do really, really like it. And when I used it for about a month in December, because I had another device, but I couldn't use all of it for because I was pregnant at the time. So I used the AO scan for getting the custom sounds, and I like the imprints. You can imprint energy into water, so I did that. And frequency is amazing. It's any frequency tools are really here for us to heal and work with in new ways. And it is something you have to build a relationship with. And the thing is, we're all energy, and everything about energy, it carries a frequency. So when you start using these frequency tools, it's allowing us to tap into that source of knowledge. When I had Energy House brick and mortar, we had a few different frequency devices, biofeedback, one for essential oils. So you would hold it and it would do a scan of your skin, pretty much your skin, how it vibrates, and it would read the frequencies. And from that, it would tell you what top oils would benefit you. And then I had all these books that had the emotional meaning of the oils. So people would get the scan, and then I would have them read the book, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's like reading me." Like, how did it know? And it was like a horoscope. And I would make a custom blend with those oils, and people loved that. And it was so, to me, that's when I started really believing frequency devices and biofeedback. Before that, though, I was at Microsoft, and I worked a lot with Connect, which is an accessory that connects to Xbox and allows you to do stuff without wires. But it also had a biofeedback on there. So I started learning back in the day more of the quantum fields of how biofeedback works and how it works with the gaming industry, and allowing us to communicate wirelessly through movement, and also being able to see the biofeedback in terms of people's heart rates, how is impacting their body temperature with the movement. Specifically, I was able to see that a lot with the Nike app. So I say that because it's like, this isn't new, really. Like, frequency is all around us, and we're constantly actually already engaging with different frequency devices. Our phone has, different apps and things it's measuring of like how we're moving it, how we're like, it's beyond us. But that it's really not that far out there. It's already being used in many ways in many different industries. So bringing that back to now, we have all these different frequency healing devices. Another one that I was introduced to during pandemic, is called Healy, and Healy's a quantum healer. It's literally this amazing little box that is it's a sensor that literally sends out and emits a frequency that reads the energy field around you, and then it sends you can put adapters on, and they even have a coil that sends you the energy you need to help boost your immunity, your creativity, your chakras. I mean, you name it, they have a frequency for it. It blows my mind. And I've used this to help heal tooth pain. I've used it when I was, times I fell off. They have a direct version where you can receive the microcurrents, and then they have a remote version where you can, use it kind of like sending it to you without having to use accessories. And then they have the coil, which basically increases the frequency around you so you can just receive it. So there's like 3 different ways you can use it. It's a little high tech, I know. But if you're interested, feel free to DM me or email Energy House, fill out the contact form. I'll send you an interactive link and you can learn more about the technology. And then I can let you know what type of packages they have available if you want to buy one. It is an amazing tool, along with AO scan, and they're very different, like very, very different. I would say like Healy is more for like, I mean, they're both like the same, but a little different. Healy's more for if you're wanting to really heal and bring, because we're trillions and trillion cells. If you want to increase your frequency from like specific things, from everything from chakras to body parts, to physical pain, the attachments really do help and bring in that like different level of intensity where you can actually feel the release and relief from that pain. And it's a very strong frequency. They're both very strong, but it's a little bit, to me, it's like the AO scan is more remote, so it's a little softer, where Healy is a little more direct. So to me, it's a little more, I don't know. They just work in many different ways, because AO scan to me is kind of more the feminine frequency healing, and Healy's more the masculine. But then Healy does have, the other part to it, which is called like Healy Analyze, and that you could pull analysis of your frequencies and get data on your chakras. And AO scan also has that. So it's really interesting to compare the analysis of both, because they do complement each other, and both give you different types of information. So those are 2 devices that Rachel and I both use. And again, she's built more of a relationship than with AO scan than I have. And you could probably add to AO scan amongst what you've already shared, because there's different features that I feel like are really, really interesting, like the inner voice and the Cephi, like we were talking about earlier.
Right. So the AO scan, I also have a Healy, and
Yeah.
I do use them. I use them both. That the AO scan, it's so magnus because it has so many different things that do, that is able to bring in reports that send to you, vitals, comprehensive, everything from like your blood work to your DNA, anything it's all about the education of, where your frequency is, almost like if it takes a snapshot of that moment in time, and will send you like a complete, analysis of everything. But those are very complex, and I mean, they're easy to explain and show you, but not for right now. What I did want to explain though is what we use in the workbook, is like the inner voice is my favorite thing of the AO scan, because what that does is it takes a 10-second recording of your voice, and it analyzes it, over 12 notes across 9 octaves, and it generates the balancing audios. So the things that, are coming out of your voice recording speak to vibrational inconsistencies that are going on throughout your entire body, and it can give you back those, in a balancing 12 minutes, of music that I use like my earbuds in. And what I do is I email my clients their own personalized, customized sound bath, basically. And then it also emails the report that goes along with each of those frequencies, and what that can mean in your body, and how maybe you can better, serve yourself through diet, exercise, things you might want to keep an eye on just for, your own information type of thing. So as I use the, inner voice, it has brought my mind back into, clarity. I become more creative when I'm listening to it. If I'm experiencing a point of severe anxiety, I just pop those in, and then I can just go in and listen to my audio sound bath, and it just calms me down, and it feels so good. The Cephi, on the other hand, which is another program within the AO scan device, is a subtle energy frequency imprinter. So, in addition to being able to, like you had brought up, imprint your water or sugar pellets, you can, as you were saying about your essential oils, you can imprint those and put those into a library and see, what comes up later on, as to your needs. But what I love is the feature of being able to do a customized Cephi, customized frequency playlist. And it has hundreds of different frequencies that you can set up and combine. So, for example, if you're suffering from insomnia, I might send you peace and tranquility, insomnia, sleep support, all the different frequencies throughout, whether it's quantum frequency or Bach flowers or, chakra alignment. Those types of things can all come into play, and I can customize each of those for you as well, and then send you that information so you can use it as you see fit, for your own education. And those two things, just getting that Cephi customized playlist and your inner voice, can really just help support you bringing yourself back into alignment, and things that you may be having those problems with: sleep, exercise, feeling tired, feeling stressed out, things that all come into grief. So when I'm working with a client with grief, I like to offer these as helpful tools as well, to help them in their healing process. And that was what I liked about what we did in our workbook, is that we have both the Healy and the AO scan. And I use, just depending on what I feel that they need for their best, highest benefit, I can use them in combination, or I can use them individually. And then again, with our affirmations and everything that has gone into this workbook, being just, heartfelt tools that you and I have both used, has really just led us to where we are today with this creation. And I'm really excited to help people who want to really just feel the difference and move beyond their grief, so that they can start to see possibilities again and see a direction that they may want to take their life, and just be free to express what it is that they're trying to do for themselves, for their families, whatever it is that's calling to them. It just is something that can really elevate them and inspire them to all new heights. So, I mean, that's what I am enjoying about it.
Yeah, you keep mentioning it, so I'll make sure to show it up for us too. The
Wow.
Change and Transition Journal, you can get this on Amazon. There's a link below. And what we've created, actually, Rachel and I created this journal, and it includes, like we mentioned, all the tools that we've used during our experiences, but we also set it up in 3 different ways. So, A, it's intuitive. You just open up to a page and see what exercise comes through for that moment you're in, versus going from like first exercise through the next one. There's no order. It's the order that feels right for you. And I think that's important when you're going through change and transition. But in the beginning of the journal, we included the tools that we use, everything through meditation, self care, crystals, specifically rose quartz, selenite, carnelian, clear quartz, hematite, and green aventurine. These are crystals that in the book, it'll tell you what they each mean and then how to use them. So, like where to place them on your body, what to do with them. So, if you have these crystals, then you're all set. You can just use this journal as guidance. And if you don't, you can purchase them from Energy Haus. And I think Rachel is working on a kit as well. So we have them available. Journaling, nature, art, essential oils, specifically geranium, lemon, orange, frankincense, and lavender. And again, how to use them, what they're good for energetically, emotionally, and where to place them aromatherapy, using them like as aromatherapy. And if you don't have these oils, you can also get them at Energy House. And I'm making a kit as well. So I'll have the crystals, the oils, and the journal just in development. So that's coming soon. But if you want one of those kits, just feel free to reach out. And then also, we included the new technology. So AO Scan and Healy. And it tells you what frequencies and reports and energy to use for each one. So if you already have those tools, you can work with them. And another good way to remind you to use our tools, because it's so easy to collect tools and then not use them. So this journal and workbook really helps you use your tools, go deeper with your energy. And we created different types of experiences slash ways for you to do that. So the first one is called Soul Creations, and this is to get you out of your norm. All the soul creations are there to like just get you out of what you usually go to. So sometimes we're like, okay, I want to meditate, and we go to what we know how to meditate or what we know how to relax. But the soul creation's like, nope, don't do any of that. Do this. And then we have soul experience. So this allows you to open up and receive. So it's an experience that allows you to see what comes through, and it'll guide you on the steps and what you need to do that. And then the last but not least is the soul meditations. So it's different types of meditations that you can do yourself to calm your mind and, just reset your energy. So there's 3 different categories in the workbook. And again, no order. You just choose which one feels good and sees what comes through. And, whether it's use the tools, whether you do the actual exercise, um, there's room for you to journal, there's room for you to draw and really just connect to your soul. So there's 33 different ones included in this workbook. And this workbook has helped me a lot, especially with postpartum. It's so easy to lose yourself when you have a new baby and become a parent. So this has been my key. I'm like, okay, where am I and what do I need to do? Especially like I don't even like to think right now. So, I love myself. I create the tools I need as well. And, this is basically a work of love that Rachel and I both poured into based on our experiences working with change and transition as well, and the tools. So, anything you want to add to that?
The only other thing that is calling right now is the fact that I don't want people to think that change and transition or grief, any of those things are only towards negative things that happen, because they can bring in, like you were saying, with the birth of your beautiful baby, and as well as a promotion or doing something like, hey, retiring, that's supposed to be like a fantastic time of life, and you're going to travel or you're going to relax or pick up a hobby, but those things can add in a whole new level of stress that you weren't expecting. It can add on a level of loss, because you don't have those work relationships, you're not waking up every day and heading into the office, and so it takes an adjustment, and that can come back as being stressful and hurtful, even in relationships, breakups, infidelity, things like that. Those are all huge things that happen in people's lives. Empty nesters, the kids are going off to college. Woohoo, you have time for yourself now. And then, and then what? So really, I think that every single person out there can benefit from this workbook. And not only that, talking to someone, whether it's a like-minded grief group or a club with like-minded people. I am a member of the Modern Widows Club, and they are a tremendous organization, and I get so much of my inspiration from them, so that I can go back out and I can help people that are drawn to work with me who are suffering losses. So it is really something that I like to say, I call myself a grief warrior. And because I want to go out and I want to fight for people who are hurting and in pain until they're healed enough to go out, and then they themselves will go out and become a grief warrior, and they can continue helping other people, because there is not enough people like us out there who are willing to spend time or able to spend time helping others. And if that's one person or 100 people that you can help, it's just amazing. And just, keep working towards doing that, and healing yourself in any way possible, whatever that looks like, even if it can be a little bit scary to heal. Like my calloused heart that had been numb, I was scared to heal that, because then that could open me up to be hurt again. But in that healing, I'm able to help others. So if you have that kind of lens on it, it makes everything that you're doing and moving towards worth it, and you're doing it in complete alignment with your soul purpose, and that is always a good thing.
Right. And sometimes we go through change and, even grief for ourselves, if we don't have to be like, okay, I went through this and now I'm here to share my journey. Like Rachel, you might just, that just might be a part of your journey. And, everyone has their own purpose behind why things happen in life. And like you mentioned, it doesn't always have to be negative. It could be a very positive thing, but does, it's still new energy that we're becoming. And anytime we go through that new energy, it's, it's kind of the same cycle of letting go of what was, and, allowing the new to come in and going at your own rhythm and pace. And that's what really life's about, is finding your own journey and your own rhythm and your own pace, and trying to have a good time while you do all
Absolutely.
of it,
Absolutely.
as much as possible. Or, even in the moments that don't feel as good, getting through those moments in a way that allows you to slowly move forward at whatever pace that might be for you. So I think that's an important reminder that it looks different for everyone. Every time you go through change and transition, it will be different. So yes, we built this muscle, but it's still, you still got to do it. Just like running, it's like after running, you build this confidence and your body like craves it. From what I've heard, I'm a walker, not a runner, but but what I've heard is that in time it comes very easy and your body craves it, and then it's easy, it becomes easier and easier. But if you don't practice that energy, it gets hard again. So change and transition, it's like you practice a lot and then like you find your rhythm, and then you lose that momentum, and bam, life hits you again. And it's constant, but doesn't always have to be hard. Sometimes it's going to be faster and sometimes it's going to take longer. So just being in the rhythm of it is really the key. So I thought what today would be fun to end this amazing conversation and really sharing the energy of change and transition with you, Rachel, is to randomly pick something from the journal for everyone to do. So obviously you can get the journal below at Amazon, or you can grab a piece of paper right now and we'll guide you through it. So let me just randomly pick one. Let's see what wants to come through for us today to explore. Okay. So this is a soul experience, and this is exploring the power of awareness. So I want you to think of a color right now. It could be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And this is going to be fun. This is homework for everyone. So you're going to then Google or go online and see what that color means. Whatever color you picked, you're going to go see what it means. So what you'll do is, like, say I picked purple. So I'm going to Google purple color meaning, purple color spiritual meaning, kind of play with the different searches. See what the color means. And then what you're going to do is see how it shows up in the next 24 hours. How does it, people are wearing it? Do you see it on flowers? Just notice how it shows up in your reality and then reflect back on that. How does it make you feel? What, knowing the meaning of the color now, open up and explore how that might continue to help you express whatever wants to come through. So comment below your color. or come back and share with us your experience with that exercise. That is a soul experience. Of course, if you had the journal, you'd have a space to color or draw what came up for the day, and then somewhere a place to journal and reflect, and then you have all your reflections. So if you pick that one again, you can reflect back and see for the last time you got it what came up for you, and then you can add in your new color and new reflections. So it's a journal that just keeps living and living and living and bringing you whatever message you need to receive to support you in change and transition. So again, go ahead and search the color meaning that you picked. See how that means to you. Like, what does that mean? Does that feel relevant? What thoughts come to mind? And then in the next 24 hours, see how that color shows up in your day. And in 24 hours from now, tomorrow afternoon, kind of reflect how that showed up and what came to mind. How did you feel? So fun, fun, fun. I love that. That's
I've
just
done
one
that before.
example.
I love it. It is. It is a really great example. And what I love about that too is um, it takes you like one little thing, and then how your mind naturally expands. And then you start at one point thinking, oh, the grass is green, but then it coordinates in with love and, trees and how it nurtures. And I mean, you can really just really expand out there. But but everything, by the time you're done, you just feel like, wow, you can almost feel your own self growth, and it feels amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it's easy just to journal, but this workbook really allows you to expand into the tools a little bit differently. And then of course, in that one, there's also what crystals would be good to use with that. So you can see, I just closed it. So clear quartz, oil, frankincense, Healy, the release program, and then for AO Scan, it's a custom playlist on abundance, creativity, quantum affirmation, success, chakras, and heart chakra. So, that's a custom energy playlist you can listen to as well to expand into that energy. And I would say put on that playlist, and then if you have the device, and then just like think of that color and meditate on that color and see how that feels as well. That would be a part 2, I would add.
yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
all right. Well, anything else you want to add? Any more tips, tricks, or tools that anyone going through change and grief you think should know in this moment?
I think in this moment, I mean, that's probably a lot for people to digest and think. And we obviously, we have so many more tools and so many more ways to use them. And we are available to help in any way. I'm available in any way to help as well. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. That's about either device, or oils, or different types of modalities that we do. That's what we're here for, and we're here to only help and help you on your own journey, and to make things easier for you so that you can go out and you can feel good about the things that you're meant to do out in life. So um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So below there's links to connect to Rachel. She also has an offering on Energy House under services. So if you want to book a specific grief healing with her, I highly recommend that, especially if you are going through something big. If you're looking for energy healing, soul guidance, I have some packages as well to support you. And really, everything that I do is to take your energy to the next level, as long with Rachel, too. We both do this, but in our own unique way. So,
Mhm.
definitely check us out and stay connected. Would love to hear your experience with the workbook as well, if you already have it, and, if you did the exercise as well. So, thank you all for those who were able to join live. And also, for those, oh, Pamela, love it. Love that you shared already. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm just seeing everyone. Sorry. I love comments. I love comments. They're so great. Thank you for joining live. And thank you for watching the replay. Even if you comment below during the replay, we love it still because we can read it and we can see it. So, don't be shy. Comment whenever. And happy 222 for those who are joining live. Today is an amazing alignment day. Check out the meditation, the 222 meditation on the Energy House YouTube channel as well. And, really do what feels in the highest alignment for you always, each and every day. That is the key to where we're all headed, energetically speaking. So we're all going through big changes and transitions right now. So again, if you're looking for a tool, get this workbook. It will support you as well. So Rachel, thank you for joining. It's
Thank
always an
you.
honor,
Thank
and
you.
we will see you very soon.
Bye.
Oh, we are going to be working on a workshop with this workbook. So
Yes. Yes.
be on the lookout for that. Forgot to
Yes.
add that. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Have a
everybody, for
powerful
joining or
day.
watching, commenting. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Rachel.
Bye.